sitting here with Marius Arneson, CEO of Harm Reduction Group. Nice to be here with you.
Thank you, Martin, and thank you for being here with me.
We'll start with the first question. Can you start us by telling us what Harm Reduction Group does?
Yeah, Harm Reduction Group works towards a tobacco-free society. So we focus on products that is better alternatives to the standard cigarettes, as we know, the normal smoke. So our focus right now is on key products is vape and white pouches. That's what we're working on now. And our key markets is Sweden and Norway, and we're also trying to establish ourselves in the UK market. We are selling on both B2B and B2C. We have 21 physical stores across the 3 countries today and 11 e-commerce sites. And we are gradually growing within the B2B sector in retail as well.
And you've been the CEO of the company since the fall in 2021. Can you tell us a little bit more about yourself and your role as the CEO?
My background is finance and business administration. I did my degrees overseas in Australia and America. Most of my career I've been working within the oil sector in different kinds of positions like marketing analyst, contract cost controller, and eventually CFO for a Singaporean oil company before I went back home to Norway in, I believe it was March 2015. I had then at that point of time been overseas for 13 years. So it was time to go home, I felt. At that point of time, I started a company called Ulrik Holding, which is called after my eldest son. So I ventured into different kind of ventures through that company. One of the ventures was a Norwegian company called Ice Smoking, which is today, as we know, in Northvape AS and part of Harm Reduction Group. That's the story on that side. Privately, I have 3 kids, age 3, 7, and 11. So there's not enough hours in the day, really. So that's a little bit about me.
And since the company was founded, you've had a steady increase in turnover. What would you say are the factors for this growth?
I think it's 3 key factors. We were early on in a market that was booming. We're still early, which is great. We had shown tremendous organic growth. That's the second. And thirdly, we've done some acquisitions and mergers that has also transferred into higher market share and higher turnover numbers. So it's been an experience. I mean, I entered into this sector in 2017. At that point of time, we had 2 stores and a revenue of 6.5 million. Now we've grown to roughly a little bit less than 200 million in revenue. So it's been a journey, but I believe that it's only in the start. This is where the framework, the regulations are coming into place. This is where retail markets are opening up, and that's where the big volume is. So now it's all about capturing that for continuous further growth going forward.
And in June, you communicated an agreement with Dagab, which is one of Sweden's largest retailers. Has delivery to them begun? And if so, how much potential do you see in that particular deal?
Yeah, we're very pleased with finally being there. We worked on that for quite some time. It was tough. Dagab was going to change warehouse facilities. They didn't have enough space where they are currently, so they didn't want to take in any more products. Luckily, the Eurobrands and the team over there has worked very well together with the purchasing departments in Preem, Circle K, HemmaHos, Direct, and so forth. So they started pushing Dagab. And then it made it easier for us to come in. So in week 40, we started getting products into Dagab for distribution. Still, it takes time. Every sales channel needs to have licenses to sell these products, and that needs to be shown to Dagab before they send them any products. There is different systems. So Preem and Circle K is structured a little bit like a chain and managed from the head office to a certain extent. Whilst HemmaHos and Direct is all individual stores, so you're sort of dependent on the purchasers for the different stores to place the orders for the product and know about it. So we have expanded on our sales team in Sweden. They're traveling around, visiting the different stores, enlightening them on our products and our whereabouts, and the fact that they can get distribution through Dagab. So now we're starting to see a steady increase in the orders coming from Dagab, which is also transferring into distribution. So it's looking positive, but it's taken a while. But we're very happy with where we are now.
And when do you expect to achieve profitability?
Profitability, I expect in Q1 next year. What we've done now, it's we have rigged ourselves for the growth going forward through mainly retail. So we wouldn't have to increase our overhead costs even though the turnover doubled. We are rigged for it already. We have the systems for it, we have the infrastructure for it, we have the people for it, and the cost for it has already been taken. So once we start seeing decent revenue figures through distributors like Dagab and into retail, then we will also start to see the profitability. And we have 10 spots in the planogram today, but coming week 3, which is mid-January, we will have 30. So by all means, this should be in Q1.
And on your website, it says that the way forward partly consists of strategic acquisitions. What do you look at when you make acquisitions?
It's a good question. It's different things. Market share is one, but the market share needs to be where potentially we're not as strong or not that present, so we don't do any sort of cannibalism on each other. So there have to be good synergies between the companies in regards to product portfolio and customers and what clients they have. That's important. There needs to be possibilities for business optimization around the administration and the overhead cost, so you can keep the turnover, but you can lower the overhead associated with it by being part of a bigger system. That will also give a better margin and a better profitability. So those are some of the key factors that we're looking at, but obviously the drivers behind that company, the entrepreneurs or the owners, it's also very important that they are good and we feel there's a good chemistry and that we can work together. It's tough to take over something and having to run with it yourself without having the people that's actually build it up. At least you need to have a certain let's call it a handover period, so you're sure it runs smoothly. And for that to work, there has to be a certain chemistry also between the people. So that would be the key components that we look at for when it comes to acquisitions and potential mergers.
And what does the competition look like for you guys?
It depends which market we're talking about. I mean, like I mentioned in the intro, we are in 3 markets today: Sweden, Norway, and UK. So let's take UK first. That's the mature market. The competition is very tough. It's a saturated market. It's over 3,500 individual specialty stores selling vape, and they've had the products for much longer than what we have had in Scandinavia. So that's a tough market to get a foothold on. The Norwegian market is kind of the opposite. You have 3 key players, where we are one of them. The TPD regulation is not really set 100% yet, so the framework for the market is undefined to a certain extent, which also leads professional players from they hold back, they wait to enter the market until they know what they're dealing with. So the Norwegian market, competitive-wise, it's okay. It's not too much competition. In Sweden, it's starting to toughen up. As we know, in June last year, there was voted for no to a flavor ban. That sort of opened up the floodgates. That opened up the retail, and suddenly the market seemed very good, even for bigger players like Philip Morris, BAT, and such. So you see today that they have a long-standing relationship with most of the retailers, the big tobacco companies. So when they come in them with their own devices, they have a little bit more leverage or negotiation power to get the products in. which is why I believe that Woos, which is a BAT product, is got a fairly quick entry into a lot of retail space. So that's sort of a disadvantage for us because we're starting from scratch. But having said that, though, coming week 3, we will have more places in the planogram than what BAT does. So I'm very pleased with the job that the guys have done there.
And in which markets are you currently active in?
Right now it's Norway, Sweden and UK that we're active in. We do have some sales orders going to Finland, Denmark, Iceland and there, but it's not that much. The key markets for us is Sweden at the top, then Norway and then UK.
And how do you work with marketing in these markets?
Oh, that's tough. That's tough. It's a regulated market. It's quite stringent what you can and cannot do, considering it's regarded as a tobacco product, even though there is no tobacco in it. So as for marketing, we have our e-commerce sites, of course. We have our social media presence to the level that we are allowed to within the frameworks. We have good partners in. We have 13 exclusivity agreements in place for some of the better brands in the world. So they have a long experience with marketing and promotion and building brand awareness. So they are doing different kinds of promotions for us. But some of them is domestically and some of them is outside. But it's only so much we can do with the regulation as it stands. Word of mouth is very important for us. Getting the message out there that this is a product that helps you quit smoking and is much better for your health and even for your wallet also. It's a cheaper product. Getting that message out there takes time, but once you starting to get momentum in the word of mouth, then that's a powerful tool to use, and that's important for us to use going forward.
And looking at your products, which one of your product segment is the most profitable, and why would you say?
Without a question, it's the electronic cigarettes, it's the vape. It's a fairly new product. Like I said, it's a lot of unregulated markets, and there is some markets that is becoming regulated, which means that you're moving over from a little bit of a cowboy industry to a professional industry. It's consolidating now. So once you start going through the consolidation process and whatnot, and the regulations are coming in, and the taxes and the fees are coming in, obviously the margins will take a hit. But as it stands now, we're still at the early stages. So the margins associated with vape is quite good. The only thing that is hampering the margins for us right now is the macroeconomic conditions out there, with currency exchange rates being very poor. Buying power is not there. Shipment and freight costs are expensive. Raw materials are expensive. So right now it's a lot of things that is sort of eating up on the margin. But under normal conditions, absolutely, vape is by far the best product for us.
And you want to save lives by making people switch products. How difficult would you say is it to actually change the behavior of people?
I think it's very difficult. At the end of the day, I think the people need to want to change themselves. But I think there is a lot of people out there that really want a change when it comes to cigarettes. They don't want to smoke. They know what kind of impact it has on their health. They tried the chewing gum, they tried the patches on their arms, they tried different kinds of things, but it hasn't worked for them, at least not for a vast majority of them. So they're looking for that alternative product that can help them get away from it. And I really and truly do believe that the electronic cigarette, that is that type of product. That is the product that will help them get away from the standard cigarette and the tobacco. So I'm very happy with the products that we're selling. We are constantly getting emails and responses in our stores or in the e-commerce from our customers saying how this has changed things for them, how happy they are that they found the electronic cigarette. They've been smoking for 10 years, 15 years and whatnot. So those kind of stories, when they come in and they show appreciation for the products, it's a good feeling. I think it's great.
And it's not unusual to think that tobacco and nicotine, they're the same thing. What would you say is the difference?
The difference, nicotine is a chemical that comes from tobacco, and nicotine is an addictive substance. It's something that gets you addicted. It's other than that, it's not really that harmful to you. It's more that it gets you addicted. Tobacco and the toxic chemicals within tobacco, that's what severely impacts your health. So that's the big difference. So having nicotine is something that can make you addicted to something, but the tobacco part, excluding that, at least you're preserving your health. So that's the big difference as I see it.
And why should investors take a closer look at Harm Reduction Group as a potential investment?
Right now, it's a great time to have a look at Harm Reduction Group as a potential investment. Maybe not so objective, but humble opinion. I do feel that the share price is severely underpriced compared to where we are, what our turnover is, what growth we have shown in the past, and where we are moving in terms of retail and such. And even in terms of looking at the MCAP versus the value of stock of goods already sitting in our warehouses, it doesn't make all that much sense to me. We have to remember that we're still in a very early stage within this sector, and we've taken a fair market share already, and we're continuously growing that. It's now that we're moving into retail, and that's where the big volumes is. That's where you can really see the trajectory going in the right direction. The cost for doing all of that has been taken. It's already there. And we're rigged for retail going forward. I think a company that is in growth and is in early stages and are increasing revenue and are fighting the macroeconomic conditions that we are, and are still able to deliver. I think that's a strong statement. So when we start getting a flow within specifically retail, I think you will see a turnover that is much higher than what it is now, and I think you will see it fairly quickly. The overhead cost is, like I mentioned, has already been taken. So what you're left with is the product cost. The margins would sort of land at the EBITDA level. And within retail, we have between 20 and 30% margin. And I expect us to during 2024, have between 120 and 150 million isolated just for distribution through Dagab and retail. So, and that comes on top of where we are today. So I think it's a very good time to invest at a share that is, again, in my opinion, underpriced.
Well, thank you very much, Marius, for having us here, and best of luck now in the future.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.